I am a newbie at all this, and I think this video is going to be quite helpful to you because, I'm figuring this out myself. If I can do it, then you can do it. I'm going to show you exactly what I've got on Lightburn, the software, for you to directly type those settings in and get your business card made in no time at all. So you're not going to have to fiddle around with the power or the speed. I'm going to show you that all right now. Hi everyone, welcome. Ryan here from the London Craftsman channel. How are you? Right, today this video is all about lasers. In particular, I've got the comgrow 10 watt behind me. I thought I'd make this video because I was thinking about making some business cards for my business, obviously. I've got a whole box here from Vistaprint and they aren't great. They're just the run-of-the-mill standard card, business cards, everything you've got on it, but they don't stand out. You go to a job, they've probably had 2 or 3 other joiners, carpenters measuring up, giving them business cards, and nothing really stands out. So what I thought I'd do is I'd use this laser that I've got behind me to cut some 6mm birch and make some really nice, classy business cards. Right, so this laser is a 10 watt, and I think 6, anything up to 8mm, something like that, is probably the limits on what it can burn through. I have done some tests and it does burn through. As you can see, I've got a couple of examples here, and this is what this video is all about. I'll be getting into that in a moment. You may have to adapt your laser. I've not tried to go anything thicker than 6, but it does handle 6mm birch pretty well. I'm not too sure about other materials on this particular laser. I've tried other 10 watt lasers and I do go through 6mm MDF pretty easily. As you can see, I've got my logo here out of a bit of moisture resistance MDF, cut through really, really well, nice and clean. And I've got other ones here, so it does go through. But yeah, this video I'm quite excited about because it's going to add that little touch of class to my business. I've already got a personalised measuring up box. I try and do things a little bit different from others. As you can see, my spray room and my workshop are different from other workshops. I do things a little differently. These lasers aren't particularly expensive. I think the comgrow is around £250, but for the amount of money that you're spending on these, you can do quite a lot of things. So my idea is to do business cards, logos for your business, all sorts of merch that you can sell on Etsy, and just give bits away. So if you finish the wardrobe, you can make a little plaque and put it inside your wardrobe, loads of stuff like that. I'm going to crack on, show you my laptop and the laser all set up, and we'll get going from there. Before I start, we're at 32.5, nearly 1,000 subscribers. Thanks for everyone who has subscribed, left messages. If you do like the content, then please hit that subscribe button, like, and leave a comment. It means a massive deal to me. Especially as I'm doing this all on my own, no help whatsoever, and I am taking time out of my work day to get these videos out for you. So I'll give you a few examples of what I have made. You can see here we've got a near enough full size logo of my business. I am attempting to blow this up to make a proper hanger, so when I do a wardrobe I can just put it on the hanger and leave it for the customer. It will get a lot beefier as I make it the right size, and I do need to adapt this little circle here, this little hook at the top here, to go over an actual rail. But yeah, the idea is give one of these away with every job that I do. And these lasers are perfectly capable of 10 watt. I wouldn't go anything lower than a 10 watt. 5 watt is maybe a little bit too not powerful enough. Got a little version here, it's about the size of my hand. So there's another one, and that is made up of 3mm, so it's really tiny. It's about 40mm in length. But the one I am really chuffed about is this one here, and I'm not sure if you can get that, but that is my logo. The actual thickness of the outside is not even a millimetre, but that laser cut that, and if I put that on something white, you get 10 of those to one of my business cards. So it's tiny. These things are really amazing. And what we are planning to do today is make some of these. So this is a full-size business card. It's a little thick. Yes, I know you're probably saying use 3mm. I wanted to test the capabilities of this laser, and I think making it 6mm is quite nice and a little bit more luxurious. Obviously, people aren't going to be putting these in their wallets or anything like that, but they can leave it in their cupboard or on the side. And yeah, it's just a nice little piece. Another thing I did want to show you is that you can use different materials. A piece of 7mm oak veneer, I'm sure that will cut through that pretty easily within its capabilities. Like I said before, we've got a piece of 6mm birch. And obviously you've got MDF. You can do other materials too, perspex and bits and pieces like that. And I'm sure you can cut through soft metals like brass, possibly. Don't hold me on that. I am a newbie at all this, and I think this video is going to be quite helpful to you because, you know, I'm figuring this out myself. If I can do it, then you can do it. I'm going to show you exactly what I've got on Lightburn, the software, for you to directly type those settings in and get your business card made in no time at all. So you're not going to have to fiddle around with the power or the speed. I'm going to show you that all right now. So this is the laser that I'm using. It's a comgrow 10 watt, and it's a pretty basic laser as far as I know. I've got 5 or 6 of these, and this is the most basic version. But trust me when I say this, they all generally do the same thing, okay? And there is no harm in it looking basic. Yeah, it's going to do the job really, really nicely, and I've had no problems. It turns on and starts and does the job fantastically every time. And as you can see here, if I move this out of the way, you can see all my little tests that I've been doing to get this business card spot on for you. If we move over to my laptop, I'm using Lightburn. So if I close this, so over here, this is the Lightburn, okay, and you can download this for a free trial. You might get a couple of weeks free to test it. I actually did that, and then I asked for a little bit more, so they gave me a little bit more. It might be a month. Check it out. But overall, if you are using your laser a lot, just invest £50 or so for the software, and you get it for life. You don't get the upgrades. If you don't pay £50 or whatever it is every year, you don't get the updates and stuff like that every year that they make them or whatever. But, you know, it's still going to work absolutely fine. Probably won't affect you whatsoever, newbies like you and I. I'm going to go in my files, go to open, and then I'm going to go to business card, 6mm birch. And it's only small. I've made these business cards 85 by 55. I'm going to blow it up to show you what we got. All the insides are pink. So at the bottom, you've got layers, okay? So when you make some text or you do an outline or whatever, you can highlight any individual component. If I drag there around the line, that highlights the line. If I drag the square around this logo, it highlights the logo. So when you're making these little bits and you've used the text and the squares and all those tools here, I've just done 2 layers. So you create the square, and then you go down to the bottom and you hit whatever color you want. And once you've done that, you go here to cuts, okay? And then you go up there, and what you see here is your layers. So if you double click on the gray, that shows you my settings. So my gray settings, that is a cut, and it says line, okay? So line just means like a perimeter or a cut. So if you have a look here, I've double clicked it. I've got it at 100 millimeters per minute, and I've got that at 100% power. So that line all the way around the edges is, like I said, 100 millimeters per minute and 100% power. If you can have a look there, it also says number of passes. I'm doing 4. Okay, so I played around with this and I found that this is the best way to cut through birch without getting too much burning and without air assist. Let's have a look at the fill. So basically all of the letters and the insides of this are pink, and what I did is I just highlighted them all like this, and it highlights all of them at once. I then went to the pink, and then I clicked on it, and that made them all pink. So that's a pink layer. And then again, we go to our cuts, which is here. And then it brings this window up. Double click here, and that'll bring this up. And as you can see here, we're only doing 1 pass on this one, by the way. And I'm doing a speed of 2,100 millimeters per minute at 100% power. We click on layers here. That brings this up. So what you want to do is go to optimization settings, and just make sure you've got cut inner shapes first selected. Otherwise, it's going to cut your shape out first and then your letters after. So for example, if you cut the shape, say the outline of your business card, the rectangle, and it drops through, then you go to do your letters, then obviously it's not going to do it correctly. So you want that done first. So there you go. You can also highlight the whole lot. And if you wanted to group it as a whole, then you just go to this symbol here, the 3 people, and it groups up. So you can't make changes as separate components anymore. Probably the best thing to do. And then you can just, you know, pick this up and drag the whole thing around, whatever you want to do. You can also drag this corner and make it smaller by dragging it in and out. I'm keeping it as a full-size business card at the moment. So I'm ready to go on that now. And if we wanted to see how long it takes, we drag from the bottom right upwards, right click, go to preview, and then it will tell you how long you've got. This one's going to take 17 minutes. And you can also press play here, and it will show you how it's going to cut. As you can see, it's going to be doing all of my inside first, the logo, the wardrobe specialist, the London Craftsman title, and then it's just going to go around. Remember, I'm doing 4 passes in this, so it'll probably go around 4 times. And yeah, that's it. I'm happy to go with that. I'm just going to press OK. Right, Sean's back. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Right, so Sean's making some noise, so don't worry about him. He's cracking on, just had his lunch. If we just hit the frame button, which is this, it shows me where I'm going to be cutting. So happy that I'm using that bit of birch economically. I've got the honeycomb bed underneath. I would advise getting one of these, but it just gets the airflow underneath, gives you a better burn, and the metal plates that they give you, they don't last too long. Once they heat up, they start warping on you, and they'll pee you off over time. Okay, so if I press the home button, that's going to put that into my home, into the bottom left corner. And yeah, I think we are good to go. So what we do is go over here and press play. And this is it. It's rocking and rolling. Make sure you've got enough ventilation. Make sure you're using your goggles, etc. And yeah, so while that's burning, this is what we're trying to achieve. So obviously with a laser, it does burn the edges. I have sanded this up as well, the face. And I could play around with it ever so slightly, as you can see near the words and the mun of the craftsman. It's a little bit burnt around the edges, like charred. But you could play around with the settings, maybe make the wording a little less powerful. So you could probably just drop that down, set 10%, or speed up the way it works, so it moves faster on the wording. What we're trying to achieve, this is a full-size business card. And as you can see, we've been making lots. I did a lot of test runs with small ones first, not to waste the birch. And a few goes, spent about 3 or 4 hours just working it out before I started this video. So if you were to make these and you had the settings that I've got, it takes 17 minutes to make one. But remember, you don't have to do anything. Once you've got that bit of birch set up, this working area is 400 by 400. Sean, how many business cards would you get out of that if it's 400 by 400? Please, 5 seconds. Nah, I'm joking. Anyway, you get a lot. I don't know, 20, 25, 30, whatever. You could pick up the pace on these bits as well and just pick that speed up ever so slightly and it'll cut the time down. Or you can use thinner. Remember, I'm using 6mm. If you went for 3mm, you'd probably only spend 9 minutes, maybe 8, even less, cutting these out. I love these things. I really, really do. And I'm not trying to sell the product. I'm using it because I like it. Just on the logo bit now, the bottom of the hanger. Yeah, like I said before, if you are making these and you want to do a lot more, I recommend just using 3mm. But at least you know you can make things out of 6. You're just going to have to do a few more passes. I mean, I could probably do that in 2 passes at 50mm per minute, but you're probably going to get a lot more burning around the edges, a lot more charring, and as you can see, the face of it's gone a little bit brown where it's got too hot around the area. It's only using 27 to 42 watts. Let's just average that out at 25, 30 watts, which is nothing really. If you had this on all day, it probably only cost you like 20 pence or something like that to run it. Once you've bought the machine, you don't need to change the cutters like a CNC machine. You don't need to do anything like that. They should have a really long lifetime as far as I can tell. This hasn't got air assist like I said before, so every now and then you might have to get underneath, clean the laser head. Okay, make sure it's off when you do it. As you can see here, the red plastic, I've got that about 3mm away from my work, so you'll have to play around with that. I'm not a specialist at how far it's got to be, so I think it's another 4 or 5 minutes. So we've nearly done the wording here, and I don't think I've got the settings too far off. Like I said before, it's possibly a little bit too hot and moving a little bit too slow, but yeah, once you've given it a sound with 120 and 240, it should come right up. One thing I did forget to mention is that I've radiused these corners, okay, as you can see. So all you need to do, once you've drawn out your rectangle, jump down to this tool here. It says radius. I put in 2. Type in 2 and then double click that corner and it should change it to a radius, okay. So that's a nice little touch. So if we have a look, at the corners, they're rounded off slightly, okay? So we're getting on to the cuts at the moment. So this is how slow it's moving. If I just give you an example, I might move my camera. This is 100 millimeters every minute. Okay, so we've just done one pass, and the laser is going pretty slowly, but remember, we've got to give that laser time to make the cut. If we go any faster, then we're going to have to just go more passes, 5, 6, 7 passes. Okay, so I've done a little Googling while filming. This comgrow is going to set you back around $349. You may get it cheaper, but remember, once you've got it, you've got it. And the world is your oyster. I'm making bits and pieces. My idea, because I think I've got 6 lasers now, my idea is to make one whole cabinet that's going to live all the way down there and have all 6 in one cabinet. And I'm going to have extraction on the back. I'm going to have a Perspex door. I'm going to have pull-out shelves for each one. And then I'm going to have it so my laptop can sit on the top. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Obviously, in theory, it should work, but I'll have to make all the logistics happen of all 6 lasers working in one go. Also, I want to make a little enclosure just for this one. Shouldn't be too hard. Just use a bit of scrap OSB or something like that with a Perspex lid. So we are on the second pass now. So I'm going to get back to you in a moment and show you the finished product. So yeah, it's looking quite nice, and let's see if it's cut through. Oh, that's always a good sign. And there we go. It's got a little bit of burning around the wording, so you could just go a little bit faster with that setting on the words, or you could lower the power. But like I said, 120 and 240 should sound up really nicely. Yeah, but the thing is, you've got the settings now to be able to crack on and get that done. Albeit, if you tweak it ever so slightly, you should get a perfect business card. So there we go, won't go on for much longer. Hope you enjoyed. Remember, what I'm using is a comgrow 10 watt. I think I Googled it, around $350, about £300. Might get it a little bit cheaper. Use the Lightburn software. The software is free for a demo, and it's only about £50 or so for the year. And then you don't really need to keep upgrading it. It's free as long as you don't need the updates. Other than that, hope you enjoyed. Remember to like and subscribe. It makes a massive difference to the YouTube algorithm and all that sort of stuff. We're at 32,500 subscribers. If you fancy hitting that subscribe button, do it now before you forget. And it means a massive deal to me. Other than that, great rest of the day. Take it easy.